Okay, so we're going to talk tonight about diet culture. And the reason I wanted to kind of talk about it and bring it up is I think sometimes I know me for sure, I'll like think something and then I'll be like, wait a second, is that really helping me? Is that really where I want to be in my mindset about something? And so I just want to talk about, like, 'cause I think there's a lot of phrases and things we say to ourselves and things we say to other people that aren't necessarily helping us in being where we want to be with our health esteem, with our mindset about nutrition, about fitness. And so I thought it might be kind of fun to just kind of get some of those sayings out, maybe talk about them a little bit. And obviously we can continue the conversation in the nutrition chat to kind of keep those things going and as people have questions. So like one of the things that was coming to mind was I earned this, right? Like, so if maybe you did your workout this morning, so then you're like, I earned this, whatever you want to treat, cookie, cupcake, whatever, right? Something that you think is a reward. So that's one of those things where, we say it a lot in our culture. We say it, just to ourselves, I think a lot, like, oh, I've been good all week. I can have this. And the place I like to try to get to, because I was often like that, is really, if I want something, I can have it. Like it doesn't have to be
So hard to do, though.
It is hard to do. I think the key is figuring out, do you really want it? Right? That's where the question lies. Like there's a tray of cookies in front of us. And you're like, okay, I did my workout, so I can have this. I deserve this. But in the end, like when you look at that cookie, or even when you've had it, after you've had it, did it change anything about you feeling better about yourself? Did you have it and really enjoy it? Or were you hungry or just looking for something sweet or looking for something in general? So it's kind of examining, are you being really honest with yourself about what you really need, right? Like, especially, let's talk about like emotional, stressful situations. If you're having a cookie
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're stressed out and you deserve it, right? Like, did it help the stress? More than
No.
likely not. I can't imagine a cookie's going to change any kind of emotional situation, right? And sometimes we come out of it feeling worse because then we're like, oh, what I do? Because you're feeling bad about a food. You're attaching this thing to food. You're attaching power to food. And that's the piece where food is food. I mean, it is. It doesn't have to be a control or a power or fix our emotions. We are in charge of doing those things. And so I think when you take away its power and you take away the emotion of why you're having something, it really helps to just be like, well, do I really want it? Like, am I going to have this because it tastes amazing and it sounds really good right now? And I'm going to have a reasonable amount because it sounds great. And you know what I mean? It's not something I feel out of control over, or, things like that. So, it's that kind of stuff where I think it's just like this inward conversation with yourself. I know we've talked about this before, where I like to look at ourselves as an experiment, right? Like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
From a non-shameful place, right? Obviously, non-judgmental, but like, why do I want this so bad? What about this thing is drawing me in right now, or makes me think it's going to help me through this stressful time? Things like that, I think are key to look at.
Yeah.
What are things, Nicole, you think that you've heard that are like diet culture type?
Oh, well, I mean, so, and I remember even growing up, oh, if you do good in school, we'll go, to wherever you want to eat for dinner. And it was always, or we'll go get ice cream, if you get straight A's on your report card. It was always that kind of thing. But it's also the thing I deal with the most is, an all or nothing. Either
Yes.
I'm all in or first time I mess up, I'm like, well, starting to get on Monday.
Yeah. Yep. Or some people are like, didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. So
It for 3 days didn't work. Moving on.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you think about,
Yeah.
I like everybody, like I remember growing up, my mom was always like, well, when I lose some weight, I'll do this. I'll go get some new clothes, or it's like when I lose some weight, I'm allowing myself to feel better in or about something. Right. And like
Yes.
in our small group, I know Mary posted today about I should here, let me look exactly what she wrote. It was the quote. I loved it because it was so perfect. Yeah, don't miss out on
Oh, the
95% of
95%.
your life. Yeah, just to weigh 5% less. And it's
Yeah.
so true, because how often are you not in the picture? You're not wearing what you want to wear. You're not going to get something you want to wear. You're not doing the activity. You're not going out with your friends or doing things because you just don't like how you look and how you feel. And it's
Yeah.
just sad, right? Because not doing those things doesn't make you healthier or get closer to whatever goal you have, right? It just makes you
Yeah.
feel worse. And I think we all have realized that, like, the better you feel as you're going through things, one, you're going to like that now is going to become the lifestyle for you. And two, you're just going to feel more alive and make better decisions for yourself. You're going to do things that are good for you and feel good to you versus just always being down on yourself, or making yourself wait to do something because of however you're feeling. So I loved that quote. Thanks, Mary, if you're watching this back, for putting that in there. Let's see here. Yeah, like, so I'm just looking at my list of, I wrote down a bunch of different things that were kind of going through my mind. Like, I
Yeah.
oh, sorry, Nicole, I didn't get you. Oh, there you are. You were frozen for me for a little bit. Okay, so like, I'll be happy when I weigh something. That's kind of a diet culture saying, right? You can be happy this instant. It doesn't matter what you weigh. Happiness isn't our weight. So, like, thinking
Yeah.
about things in terms of that too, that's a big mind shift sometimes for people, or waiting to do something until you feel like you're at a certain weight. One that might be controversial for people, I've not been a fan of the idea of cheat day. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of labels, like, as if the rest of your time is different, right? Like, again, going back to that, food is food. So I wouldn't call anything a cheat day, but if there's a meal you want to have, then have it, right? But that, I think when you have a specific cheat day, it kind of is one of those ways where you're on a diet, so I'm eating this way, versus, you know, eating off a diet looks different, right? Your lifestyle is however you choose to eat all the time. And it's going to have ebbs and flows, and there's going to be different things, and you're going to have different meals. But thinking when you're in a diet culture, it's all about, this is how I can eat. I can only have this stuff. This is what my food looks like. This is how things are going. And I think a cheat day kind of keeps that differentiation there, like that you're on a diet or you're off a diet, right? A cheat day is off the diet. So I don't know. I like to not even use those words and just kind of be like, just have the meal.
Yeah. I had some food today, so there was that.
You had what?
But
What did you say?
I guess it's one of those where I just had some food. You just have to change the way.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can, I mean, I think you can phrase it too, even like, I had some food that is going to help me feel really great. Like, I had really nutritious, dense food, or I had some food that was fun. Yeah, I can't remember what is Alana called, I think she calls it simple or silly carbs, right?
Really hard.
One of the things that she says is treat, not cheat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, it's kind of like it is what it is, right? And then you go back to the idea of looking at, is it something I'm actually having because I'm going to enjoy it? Or is it something I'm having to fill some kind of spot to, because I think I should, whatever the attachment is to it. So it's kind of working through those things. And that's how you make things the lifestyle. The lifestyle piece of it is I'm choosing to have this because I know I feel great with it. I'm choosing, maybe I'm not going to have that cookie today because it's not my favorite cookie, or it's not, it's just going to be okay. Right. It's not something I'm like super excited about. I'd rather have this instead, or I'd rather wait until it's a time when I have a dessert that I'm really excited about. Right. That's where the lifestyle piece comes in. What other things have you guys heard? I'm looking through the list here, like that you'd say is kind of diet culture-ish.
It's the focus on being skinny instead of being healthy.
Yes. We're all trying to be
The less you
smaller.
weigh, the better you are, and that's not always the case.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because I think you'll see people in weight loss mode, they'll get to a really thin weight, and then they'll kind of figure out what their lifestyle looks like, and they'll come up a little bit. And I think that's like, hopefully they don't feel like they're failing. I think they're figuring out where their lifestyle fits in and where they can, do what they want to do and feel good, but plus have the things they want to have and live how they want to live. But I think sometimes people see that as a failure, right? When you kind of have lost a bunch and then you start coming up again, but you really have to figure out where you're at with it and make peace at, how do I feel? Am I, how are the insides? What's my blood work like? I think a lot about the idea of like, I carry in all my groceries, right? Like I feel strong, but I think if I were still focused on making myself smaller and the number, I wouldn't be where I'm at physically strong, right? I would be in a different place because I wouldn't have allowed myself to build that muscle, because I wouldn't have been fueling my body to build the muscle. So you kind of have to, everybody's got to figure out where they're at with them, where they want to be and where things are at for themselves.
Very true.
One thing that I'm learning about the diet culture, reformed diet culture kind of thing, is that carbs aren't necessarily bad, and that when I'm doing a workout like T25, like no wonder I don't have any energy, because I'm just eating vegetables and protein and a little bit of fat. Like,
yep.
So it makes sense. As much as I fought it for a week, like I've always been indoctrinated that like it's the carbs that add on the pounds. But if I can't even like hardly stay awake and have no energy, so I want my chocolate, and then that makes me feel all kinds of like, well, I should have just eaten the sweet potato for breakfast and lunch instead of trying to not have carbs. So yeah, I'm learning about that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people struggle with like what they consider I'm on plan, or I'm following my plan, like for that first part of the day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and into the afternoon. And all of a sudden they get home and they don't know why they're like picking everything out of the cupboard, because they haven't eaten enough early in the day. And now your body's like, we need some more fuel. Like you need to get this going because I'm hungry and everything looks good. But if, you can manage yourself and how you feel much better when you're fueling through the whole day. And especially having those carbs morning and lunch are definitely where your body wants them, right? Like it's a great time to have them. But you're absolutely right. Carbs are not the enemy. I've said it on this call before where I'm like, nobody got fat off fruit. It's just not, it's just not the way things are. Your body uses those things you're giving it, it's the excess of calories, right? It's the excess of things. And I mean, just like I think there was the guy, right, that ate McDonald's every day and then still lost weight. It's a calorie. There is a calorie in, calorie out. That's absolutely true in weight loss. But then there's also quality of calories that helps you feel your best. And at a cellular level, helps your body do its best when you have great nutrients going in. So yeah, I know, I feel like everybody's scared of carbs and they don't need to be. It's really, it's just all part of the, you know, we're also in a place right now, I think in the US where we're so, we're like a little bit weird about protein too. Like everything has to have everything protein. And I feel like sometimes it gets taken a little too far. Like, I think if you're just eating regular meals and kind of balance things out, you're going to hit your targets instead of like feeling like every snack thing has to have protein. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like every processed thing now is all about how much protein content it has. Whereas I feel like if you're just eating real foods, real meals, you're going to get the balance and it will be just fine. Instead of, I don't know, there's all these, like, it's like everything on the reels right now is all about, like cottage ice cream and cottage cheese cookie dough I just saw the other day, which I'm sure it's fine, but I don't know. I'm not sure I'm ready to make my cottage cheese into anything.
Should just be left alone.
That's what I'm thinking. So yeah. Oh, and then another thing, Nicole and I have actually talked about this before. So one of the other things that I hear all the time is the whole idea of 1,200 calories. And I wanted to mention this because I don't remember what year it was. There was a man credited with discovering calories, the actual metric that we're burning. And there was a woman working with him that she was kind of doing this. She was also trying to figure out how calories were burned and are established as an energy thing. So in that, she was experimenting with herself, essentially, where she was eating 1,200 calories. And she decided that when she was eating 1,200 calories and didn't go over that she didn't gain weight. So I have no idea what size this woman is or what her activity level was or any of that information, right? But this was like, I think late 1800s, maybe early 1900s. I cannot remember exactly the date. There's a great podcast on it. I can look it up if anybody wants to hear about it. But anyway, through this, her then coming out of that, she's like, well, if you eat 1,200 calories, you won't gain weight, right? So it was this broad, just kind of like, this worked for me, and here it is. And so somehow that kind of stuck with people, and it became this, and during that time, there was also this idea of being gaunt, having less, being less, and having less food for the sake of what was happening in the world. And so it just became something that people held on to, and it really doesn't have any kind of bearing on anything, nor is it grounded in science. It's just an amount of calories. So what I mean, when you go into look at your size, your activity level, I think sometimes we get caught up on like your calories just need to be this and this will happen. But if they're too low, you're not going to have the energy to do the things you want to do. And your body's not going to function in the same way if it was fueled. So I like to, like, as soon as people talk about that one, I like to be like, no, let's just look at some calculations on your size, on your weight, because you have a resting metabolic rate that is just there. And most of the time that's more than 1,200 calories for a lot of people. So just your body surviving needs to have more than that. But I don't know, it's kind of a fascinating thing listening to that podcast. I'm like, this was such an arbitrary thing that happened, but it, you know, it stuck. It's kind of like the 8 glasses of water. That was never really a scientific study either. That was, I don't even know. I don't know the history of that one, but that one never really came out of anything.
That's crazy. I mean, you hear it everywhere.
Right? Yeah. And fortunately, I feel like now I do feel like things are turning with the water thing, because the science of it is to have a minimum of half your body weight in ounces. So, you know, I feel like that's kind of, and to be fair, like if most people were in that 100, I mean, you'd have to be, I think 120 pounds to have that 8 glasses of water work then.
Yeah.
So, but it is funny how like we grasp onto these things. And oh, and like I wanted to mention, I think Deepa, I wanted to go in that chat. See, Deepa, I think had mentioned not eating rice, but eating roti, which is a wheat flour. Which is interesting. I hadn't heard that one, but I know some people do feel like plain white rice is an issue. White rice is actually structurally, it's a glucose, and it immediately gets burned. It burns faster than any other carbs just because it's so like bioavailable to your body. So rice is one of those things that actually burns first. But it goes back to what we were talking about with Renee, like if you're having too many calories, then you may think that carb, that rice is, you know, helping you gain weight. But in reality, if you're over your calories, you're over your calories. And so rice is not specifically going to add weight. Oh, and then one other thing. Yeah, go ahead.
So for the rice, I always thought, not necessarily as a diet culture, but I thought it was because of the level of arsenic and heavy metal in it.
Some people do. Yeah, there are some arsenic levels in rice. I want to say there's some brands. Bev, I wish Bev was on here. She would know more about this. We could cover this next week when she's back on, but we've talked about that in detail, and she either rinses or there's a way to like mitigate some of the arsenic, or maybe brands that mitigate it. I think maybe it depends on where it's grown too. But she would have more information on that because I know she watches that for herself. Oh yeah, and the other thing Deepa had mentioned was doing aerobics versus weightlifting. So what we've talked about before is cardio is a burn right now. Weightlifting is a burn that's more long-term, because as you lift weights and you increase your lean muscle, your resting metabolic rate increases with the amount of muscle you have on your body at all times, because it takes more calories to keep that muscle going. And cardio it's not tearing the muscle fiber. It's not increasing your lean muscle. And so it's burning it right now. Lifting, more long-term burn. And so the key, I think you'll notice in all of our things, is we have a mix of both, right? Because you get the cardiovascular benefits of cardio, you get some power moves, you just get, you know, there's good things with cardio. And then you also have 3 strength days so that you can, you know, increase that lean muscle and then increase your metabolic rate.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to have both.
Yeah. What I think which one are you doing right now, Nicole?
I am a little bit of everywhere. I'm doing T25, but like I still had a couple left from 21 Day Fix where we had to go up to Nashville and move my daughter and all. So
yeah,
I caught up on one of those tonight.
Because
I'm gonna tell you, if you've had an empty nest, just keep it that way. Don't go back. You're not missing anything. I love my kids, but you are not missing anything when they come back as adults, other than their attitude.
Right? They think they know even more then, right?
Oh my gosh, you're not cooking this right. I'm like, so now it's been not even 2 weeks. Everyone has assigned nights they have to cook, and you just have to turn your menu items in. I will let you know if they're approved. Have dinner ready by 6.
I love it.
Yeah, it's love them a lot. Can't wait for them to.
Get out on their own. Yeah. I'm
Well,
just getting started because my oldest is graduating next month.
oh,
But
fun.
I know he'll stay here because he's going to the community college. So
Yeah. Well, our daughter hadn't lived with us for, gosh, probably 6, 7 years. Yeah, it's probably been 7 years since she's lived full time at home. But like rent here in Florida is astronomical, and she's not sure she's gonna like the job. So I was like, okay, 6 months.
yeah.
It said 6 weeks. So we'll see. Fine, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
Well, at least
But
maybe you'll have some other cooks then.
oh yeah, definitely, and that's the good thing. Everybody in our house can cook, so that'll help out. But that's another thing. Like it's being in the South, Sunday dinner. You have a big family Sunday
Yeah.
dinner, and you better have dessert, and you're going to have 2 kinds of bread. I mean, it just goes on and on. And my husband comes from a big family, so once a month they're kind of, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, hey, let's not. Of course I need to do that, y'all. But it is it's just embedded in everything.
It is, yeah. But you could use some of the techniques like, I love Jennifer Jacobs where she's dating something, right? She goes on a first date with something, see how it is, and maybe you just date a few foods while you're there, and you still have the things, you try them all, but you're not necessarily all in or married to anything, and just
Yeah.
how it is. There is a really good when you say the South, it makes me think of this a really amazing banana pudding that we had in Dallas. And there's this really great like banana cream pies that Autumn has. I think they're called her birthday banana cream pies. I can't remember. It's a fix-it recipe. It's made out of coconut milk. The pudding is made out of coconut milk and bananas, and it's in a graham cracker crust, and it's phenomenal.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to look that one up now.
Yeah, because then you make them in little cupcake things, and so they're perfect. Like everybody can just have a serving and be done, and yeah, it's super good.
One and done.
Yeah.
So it's
I think here, yeah, let me search it real quick because I think it may have been under birthday, but I don't know, does anybody have anything else? Well, now it's not letting me in my thing here. Anything specific to like diet culture, the topic? Hi, Kelly. Anything specific we want to say about any of that, or we can move on to another subject?
Hello, I couldn't find the unmute button.
Oh,
It seems like lately, I don't know if y'all, I know this is Zoom, but any other like platforms for conferencing, and for one of my jobs, we use Teams, Microsoft Teams. They move their buttons all the freaking time. And so I can't ever how to share or anything like that. It's always an experiment.
I'm just gonna, I found the recipe. I'm gonna just put it into the nutrition chat.
okay. Thank you.
Why didn't it do that though? Come back here. Copy.
Where's everybody at?
Lily's traveling. And I think Bev had something with Jacob tonight. Other than that, I don't know.
Well, I was looking
We're all
for,
here. The important people are here.
yeah, I was looking for the link in Facebook under events, and I didn't see that there was an event created for this evening. So I sent Lily an IM saying, hey, because I didn't know that I tried to join last week and I didn't know that you were traveling. And then I was like, sure enough, the 2 times I'm available.
Right? Yeah, and
There's no chat.
I don't usually create an event, but the link is always the same. So if anybody ever has an old link or whatever, it's been the same for 2 years. So
Okay, yeah, she told me that you never know. So
yeah. I don't know why it's not copying, but I will get it to you, Nicole. I'll work on it. For some reason it's not pasting. I don't know what its problem is. All right. Well, is anybody any other questions or things we want to chat about? How's everybody doing?
need more sleep,
Yeah. I feel
less stress, more sleep. See what else? Water's pretty good. Emotional eating's been a little more there. It's too many things to do, not enough time.
yeah.
You want to say hi? Come here.
Is that Valerie?
Yeah, Valerie. She's when I joined a while ago, she was we were walking.
Nice.
I think the last time you saw her hair was very, very long, and then this has been several weeks now. I think like the next day I went and got her hair cut, and I just wanted a trim, and they like shaved her down all the way. I about had a freaking heart attack. I found that I said, just do what you did the last time. She's like, is there notes or something about that? I was like, yeah, there should be some notes. Or they told me there were some notes from her last visit, which was August during, of course, Texas summer. And so they cut her so short that it was still winter here in Texas. I was so mad. And it was all choppy and everything. So I had to take her back so they could kind of even her out. But now she's getting fluffy.
Well,
Poor baby.
She looks cute now.
Yes, she knew. She walked out and knew that I was unhappy. Poor thing.
She's like, my mom is mad.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, I love it.
But tomorrow she's got to go get her shots, her yearly shot. So this will be the first time I take her. So we'll see how I do, because I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming just she gets her shots. I mean, do dogs get sick when they get any type of shots?
They sometimes get tired. They can get tired like that day. I mean, I have the most energetic dog ever, so nothing tires her out. But so yeah, and sometimes like if they might get an extra bump or something where they've gotten a shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
my little ones, because I have Dachshunds, they're always super sensitive wherever the shot was. So, and then the only reaction we've ever had was with lepto. So they gave one of them a lepto, and his little face swelled up. It was pretty. It's funny now to look back on it. It was pretty scary because within 2 hours his little face was just like, whoop.
Yeah.
Poor baby. So.
Well, I'll see how she does, because this is the first time I've taken her. But I've had her almost a year. We're just a couple of weeks from a full year being together. This is my first as an adult having a pet.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
So she's my baby.
Yeah. Totally. Yep. I love it. All right. Well, any nutrition things we want to yap about? Otherwise, I can stop recording, or I don't know. Any questions? Any things anybody feels we should be talking about? I'll take any kind of ideas for future calls too.
I just need everybody to spam me with all of your hidden vegetable recipes.
Hidden vegetable recipes. Okay, let's put that. I'll put that in the nutrition chat and have people Did you see the reel I did today? I did it just before we got on. They're not really hidden per se, but you could use vegetables that look more hidden. So I did like an Asian stir fry. I don't know why I'm like obsessed with ground chicken lately. I think it's because like lately it's always in our grocery store. So I did ground chicken and then I added in mushrooms, onions, carrots, red pepper, zucchini, garlic, and ginger, coconut aminos. And I like to do a little little lime juice at the end, or you could do a little rice vinegar. So you get a little bit of an Asian flavor, or if you want to use regular soy sauce or regular aminos, and then you get a little Asian flair. But I make the vegetables fairly small, so you're really seeing the ground meat.
Mhm.
So if you picked vegetables that weren't super colorful, or you could do the cauliflower probably won't change color in there like it does the taco meat, but mushrooms and onions would for sure blend in really well with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
With all these people home, a couple of them are picky, and I'm like, you're eating what you're eating.
Yeah.
You either eat what I put out there or there's cereal. That's your two choices. Maybe soup on a good day.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where else I hide some stuff because I have one, my oldest is like the worst. I pretty much have to bribe him to just eat a carrot. Like he's the worst at it. I don't know. Hey, Maribel. Let's see. Does anybody hide their vegetables in some way?
Yeah,
Oh,
and the rice.
What'd you say?
In the rice.
In the rice? So like you
Cauliflower,
do cauliflower in with rice?
Mhm.
Yeah, if you cook those things together, then
Oh,
they will for sure blend in. There's a butternut squash mac and cheese on the blog or in Fixate. I can't remember where. But you use butternut squash in the cheese sauce. So like you roast the squash or cook the squash and then you blend it in with the cheese sauce. And so, and I've made that several times for my kids and they liked it. So
is there a similar one too? I've not tried it and I don't know how you would make it, but cauliflower mac and cheese too?
I think there could be because there is, so like on the Gut Protocol, there's the chicken a la king and you make a gravy out of cauliflower. It's amazing. Like I was so
Yeah.
shocked how good it was. Have you tried that one, Nicole?
No, I haven't tried that one.
So, because you have the gut protocol, right? Or you don't?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'll see if it lets me send it because it's chicken a la king is the recipe. And you basically cook this cauliflower with chicken broth and then you blend it. If you have a pretty good high-speed blender, it makes it smooth like a gravy. And then you put it with chicken and noodles and it's amazing. It's so good.
Nice.
They would totally not know on that one for sure. Cause I remember I didn't tell anybody in the house and there's like, oh my gosh, this is really good.
Thank you. Eat your vegetable.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. And there's Alfredo sauces out of cauliflower. I'm pretty positive To Me Mindset has that.
I was gonna say, where did you find that? That does really sound interesting.
Yeah, the a la king one is in the Gut Protocol recipes. I'm pretty sure there's a cauliflower of Alfredo in Tubi. Let's see if I don't know why my thing's not working very well right now. Let's
I
check.
know I need to increase my veggies. That's where I'm lacking a lot this week.
That's what I've been lacking a lot for very well. I actually did, I took, when I did the precision nutrition course certification, there is a bubble chart. I'm sure Beachbody, I know Beachbody has something similar to that. I noticed when I went home a couple of weeks ago to see my parents, I purposely marked everything that I was eating. And let me tell you, veggies are down the center on that particular log. And it was like I had all the carbs over here, all the proteins over here, but there was nothing filled in between. I was like, okay, more vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I love this Asian stir fry thing I make, because it's like they're all about the same in size. And so it feels like you're having a taco bowl, or you know what I mean? You're just having this bowl. But like I mean, I probably had 6 cups of vegetables in with the pound of ground meat. So, you know, I'm at least getting 1 to 2 greens every serving.
Yeah. No, I've been trying to do more, especially when Dave is here, trying to do more mixing in just mixed vegetables in anything that we're making. I mean, it might not be a dish that anybody would have a name for, but it's got a protein, it's got some veggies, and it's got a carb in it.
Yep. Exactly. That's the way to do it. It's called the vegan Alfredo sauce. I'll add that into our chat too. That's a To Be Mindset recipe. So you could easily put in your own blue, you know what I mean? Because vegan obviously isn't going to use regular cheese, but if you're not following a vegan plan, you could put a regular cheese in there, I'm sure, if you wanted it. But yeah, there's a few ways in sauces to kind of hide some of those veggies. I've also done a roasted red pepper pasta sauce with feta that's really good.
That sounds fabulous.
Yeah, I don't think there's a recipe on here for it, but I'd roast several red peppers, and then you could do like a vegetable broth to get the right consistency, or a chicken broth, or you know what I mean, something like that as you're blending it. I don't even know. I'm trying to think if I even had to add much, because if you keep it a little thick and creamy and then just add some pasta water in, and you could use the chickpea pastas or any of those kinds of things, and a little, and you can either put feta into the red pepper sauce while it's blending, or just put them on top, whatever works better for you if people don't like feta. But that's a really good one, super easy, and it's good on zucchini noodles.
Okay.
I feel like there is a roasted red pepper something somewhere. Maybe To Be Mindset has it. But I actually just got that off Pinterest, and I used to make it quite a bit.
Oh, before I forget, I wanted to ask, because I've missed all of them probably in the last year. When's the next? I really want to make the June meal prep.
Yeah.
Is it that?
It's going to be on the 4th.
Okay.
Yep. It'll
block
be June
that.
4th.
Okay. Because I think y'all usually do 11, right? West Coast time.
Yeah, 11 West Coast. So what's that for you? 1 o'clock?
Central. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna put that on my calendar. Yeah, I've been wanting to do one of those. And
Yeah.
like,
well, and if you want, either search the coach group, or if you go on my YouTube, like all the past ones are on there. So if you want one for this weekend, right, you could just pick a month and do one.
Yeah.
You could, and it's
well,
like with us.
I saw what y'all, there was something on there that y'all made. I was just looking at the list a while ago, but I can't even remember what it was. It sounded good, whatever it was. Was it chicken mole? Or something?
Yeah. So I ended up having to cancel because I had COVID. But chicken mole was on there. So we didn't, I know a couple people jumped on just to cook together. Lily and Bev were on, I think. But yeah, that was from this month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I still want to make that one because I was actually really excited about that whole menu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ay, Dios.
See you later, Renee.
Baby.
Cutie.
All right, so we'll put in the chat to find some ways to hide how everybody hides their veggies, throws it into more things, and then we'll get some recipe shares and exchanges. What other kinds of things should we
Well, since you're talking about how is it, and I
I guess sometimes I have a hard time getting my fats into. I guess how would you kind of, if you're just gonna have like a meal that hits all, you know, not five, I'm sorry, 4 macronutrients, how can you do it all in one bang instead of having a handful of nuts, you know, for a snack, an hour or two?
Yeah. I mean, the easiest way I think is either just adding avocado or cheese to whatever you're having, right? Like, so if you're or I mean, coconut milk is in there too, but that can get a little bit tricky. I mean, I'm most of the time I eat bowls, right? I just take a bowl, I take whatever protein I've already got made. Or maybe I've made this protein plus veggie mix, and then I put that with some rice, and then add in either cheese or avocado is the simplest way. Like you can buy those little like avocado, smashed avocado things that are refrigerated, and I freeze them. And so then when I need something, I can just pull it out and put it on, and I've got it.
Yeah, because I know even, I guess from a price perspective, I know avocado, I haven't bought any avocados in forever, but I know they were getting kind of pricey.
Oh, I think they're cheap now. Like I just paid 80 cents for
I was gonna say, yeah, that's
80
about
cents.
it. That's
Look, because it's been a bit. It was just kind of like wanting to buy, lemons. I used to love to put lemon in my water, and then when I was paying basically $1 per lemon, I was like, this is.
You're like, this is an expensive water. Yeah, I would, and that's where those packs come in handy, because you don't know how quick you're going to use them. I mean, there's 2 other avocados eaters in my house, right? So it's like we pretty much get through them. But if I'm by myself, it's like I'll be hit and miss on when I want to have it. So then you never know if you're going to use them in time. So that's why I like those little frozen packs, or hummus. I do like if I'm doing like a Greek salad or a Mediterranean style salad, I'll just throw some hummus on it and have that too. Or I did make this really great recipe where you thin out hummus and it's the pasta sauce. It's like becomes a creamy pasta sauce. So I'll have to find that recipe. God, it was so good. It was like an Instagram. I want to say it was like you take the hummus, and I did sun-dried tomatoes and garlic. And then I think I used some of the pasta water to thin it out, and lemon juice, and put that with some pasta. Oh, it was amazing. It was like super creamy and delicious. And it was only like a serving of hummus. It wasn't even like it was that much.
Yeah, I would like to try that. That sounds good.
Yeah. I also find I get through days where I haven't had enough fats.
Well, it gets kind of boring, because I mean, to me, I end up seeing, either like peanut butter or actual mixed nuts or something. Just, I mean, hummus, that was getting old for me too.
Yeah.
So, and avocado was too, and then I'm like cheese. I mean, it seems like there's not enough options.
Well, I do olives a lot, and now technically that's an orange, but it's still a fat. And so if that's the, just have a few more to make it a blue, if, olives are a great option to snack on. Or just, I'd put it in with a bowl with a bunch of veggies, and the olives just kind of make it briny and make the whole bowl much better.
I wish I liked olives. Too bad I don't like them.
Yeah.
Hey, Deanne, you were doing what was it? Oatmeal with cauliflower.
Yeah.
Were you putting the cauliflower after you boiled the?
No, so I have most of the time I buy a quick cooking steel cutout. So hey. Sorry, that's probably gonna be loud. Okay. So most of the time I have a quick cooking, so it takes like 7 to 10 minutes to cook it. So I put the cauliflower and the oats in at the same time. Now I have done it, like the last one I did was like a 20-minute, 25-minute cook, and I still added them all at the same time, and it was still just fine. It just like the cauliflower can keep some of its bite if it's in less time. So like if you are cooking your steel cut oats for a long time and you want that cauliflower to be more like the oatmeal, then just add it a little later.
Okay.
That makes sense. But it's yeah, it doesn't, like, I do them all at the same time and
Okay.
just start it, and it's been fine.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah.
consider anything. I mean, I guess it's just kind of a bland. I mean, it just mixes in and it's just tastes like regular oatmeal.
It does. Now I notice if I like leave it on the stove too long and I get a little caramelization happening, the flavor of the cauliflower comes out more. But when I've also done it where, you know, you could add like a coconut beverage or coconut milk or cinnamon or nutmeg while it's cooking. And then even more, you're disguising any kind of cauliflower flavor. You can sometimes smell it a little bit when you open like a leftover container, but to me, it hasn't been enough to like deter anything. And then I usually put like cinnamon and a little maple syrup or something like that. Sometimes pecans, you know, when I actually eat it.
Yeah. Well, that one's new. I hadn't heard that one before.
Oh, you
So
haven't? Yeah, I've been doing that a couple years, and I think there's a couple people that do it, but it's super easy. Like I do probably 3 cups cauliflower, and then
There's one in the
1
refrigerator.
cup of steel cut oats, and so then that turns into 4 servings. So you get 1 green, 1 yellow.
okay.
And then if you did cook it with coconut milk, which is amazing, that's how they cooked everything down in Punta Cana, and it was so good. That would be a fat too. You know, if you added in, it would be a cup worth in that 4 servings. So it would just replace your water, 1 of your cups of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to experiment with
Yeah,
that one.
do. I do steel cut oats. You could totally do it with oatmeal. I
And
just
it's
like
just
the chew.
cauliflower rice that you're putting in, right?
Yeah, so like I always have the frozen cauliflower rice from Costco, and I just load that in at the same time, throw all the water in, cook it together, and then I, you know, put it in the refrigerator and section it out.
I guess that's kind of similar to when people are putting, I've never tried that either, with their Shakeology, putting in the cauliflower rice and blending that. I mean, you don't really.
I do that a lot too. And like
do that a
today
lot.
I did butternut squash with cafe latte, and it's delicious.
Yeah, I did the strawberry or the cookies and cream with cauliflower, and you can't taste the cauliflower.
Yeah, you can't
It's
taste
really
it at
good.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does give it like a nice creamy texture.
Yeah.
Yeah, shakes are a fantastic way to hide it all.
Let's say that talked about how to hide your veggies. There you go.
Yep, exactly. All right. Well, I didn't even realize that we're already past 6. So I will let you guys go. But so let's put our recipe ideas up there for hiding veggies and adding more veggies in.
Okay.
And yeah, it was great to see you guys. Should we take a picture? Okay, we ready? Cheese. All right, ladies. Then
Have a
we
good
will
night.
see you in the gym, and see you next Thursday.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Okay.